Madeleine Beth McCann was a bright, curious little girl. Born on May 12, 2003, in Leicester, England, she was just 3 years old when the world would come to know her name. In the spring of 2007, the McCann family went on holiday to Portugal. They stayed in the sunny coastal town of Praia da Luz in the Algarve region. It was meant to be a relaxing trip. Madeleine was there with her parents, Kate and Jerry McCann, and her 2 younger twin siblings. The family stayed in a ground-floor apartment, apartment 5A, of the Ocean Club Resort. Every night, the adults would dine at a nearby tapas restaurant, just 55 meters away. They took turns checking on the kids. Every 20 to 30 minutes. They believed it was safe. They believed they were close enough. But on the night of May 3rd, 2007, something went terribly wrong. Around 10 p.m., Kate McCann returned to the apartment to check on the children. She walked into the bedroom, and Madeleine was gone. The window was open, the shutters were raised, and the door was left slightly ajar. Panic set in. Kate ran back to the restaurant, shouting, "They've taken her!" The search began immediately. Locals, tourists, and police scoured the area, but there was no sign of Madeleine. The case quickly exploded into global news. Posters, press conferences, and police forces from multiple countries got involved. People all over the world were watching. Over the years, there were dozens of suspects, thousands of leads, and endless theories. Some believed it was a kidnapping for trafficking. Others accused the parents, claiming they covered up an accident. In 2008, the Portuguese police even made the McCanns official suspects, but later cleared them. In 2013, British police launched Operation Grange. They identified several persons of interest, but nothing solid came from it. Then in June 2020, a major breakthrough. German authorities announced a new suspect, Christian Bruckner, a convicted sex offender. He had been living near Praia da Luz at the time of Madeleine's disappearance. They declared it a murder investigation. But even now, no charges have been filed. No remains have been found. And no one knows exactly what happened that night. Madeleine would be 22 years old today. But the image burned into the public memory is that of a sweet, wide-eyed 3-year-old girl with a distinct coloboma in her right eye. A dark, haunting reminder of a child who vanished without a trace, and a mystery that still haunts the world. In the summer of 2015, a young couple took their 2-year-old son, Dior Kunz Jr., on a weekend camping trip that would soon become a nightmare etched into national headlines. It was July 10th, a warm day in the remote wilderness of Timber Creek Campground near Leadore, Idaho, a quiet area surrounded by dense woods, sharp hills, and icy creeks. Dior's mother, Jessica Mitchell, and father, Vernal Kunz, had brought Dior, along with Dior's great-grandfather and a family friend, to enjoy a quiet weekend away. According to Jessica and Vernal, Dior was playing near the campfire, just a few feet away from them. Then, for a few short minutes, the parents turned their attention elsewhere. Vernal said he went down the trail with the family friend, and Jessica said she walked to the truck. When they turned back, Dior was gone. At first, they thought he might be hiding nearby, behind a tree, under the truck, around the camp chairs. But when they couldn't find him, panic set in. They called 911 and reported a missing child in the wilderness. Search teams arrived quickly. Helicopters scanned from above. Tracking dogs combed the trails. Drones searched the creek and hills. Divers plunged into the nearby reservoir. But there was nothing. No footprints. No clothing. No signs of a wild animal attack. No broken branches. No blood. Not even a toy. Dior Kunz Jr. had vanished completely from Dion. From the middle of a campsite in daylight within minutes. As days turned into weeks, searchers grew more suspicious. How could a toddler walk that far on his own, through rocks and woods, without leaving a trace? Was it possible he didn't walk away at all? Suspicion turned toward the parents. Some of their statements changed over time. They both later failed multiple polygraph tests. The family friend who was with them, who had a criminal record, also gave inconsistent details. but no charges were filed, and no evidence of a crime was ever found. To this day, no trace of Dior, not a shoe, not a sock, not a hair, has ever been discovered. He simply disappeared into the wilderness. And whatever happened, only the woods know. On the cold night of February 24th, 1978, 5 young men from Yuba County, California, Bill Sterling, Jack Hewitt, Ted Weir, Jack Madruga, and Gary Mathias, headed out for a basketball game at California State University. It was supposed to be a fun night, a quick trip, but they never came back. When the group didn't return the next morning, friends and family immediately grew concerned. What should have been a simple road trip quickly spiraled into a mystery that has never been solved. Each of the 5 men had mild mental or developmental disabilities, but they were fully functioning, independent, and living normal lives. In fact, they were preparing to play in a Special Olympics basketball game the very next day. They had laid out their uniforms and gear before leaving for the game the night before. But something went very wrong. A police search began soon after they were reported missing. And, just a few days later, the group's car was found, abandoned, far off course. Instead of heading back toward Yuba City, they had driven an hour in the wrong direction, up a narrow, winding mountain road, into the Plumas National Forest, near the northern Sierra Nevada. The car, a Mercury Montego, was found lodged in a snowbank. Empty food wrappers and drink bottles were inside, but other than that, nothing. The car was in working condition, and strangest of all, it could have been easily pushed out of the snow by the 5 men. So, why did they leave it? Police and forest rangers began searching the thick mountain woods, but a snowstorm soon hit, wiping away any possible tracks, or worse, bodies. There were a few sightings. First, a man named Joseph Shones. He told police he had been on that same road the night the men vanished, trying to push his own car out of the snow. He suffered a mild heart attack in the process and laid inside his vehicle, helpless. At one point, he claimed he saw flashlights outside his car and a group of 5 men nearby. He called out to them, begged for dad, but they ignored him and walked into the dark. A second witness said she saw 5 men in a red pickup truck on Saturday and Sunday, nearly an hour away from where the car was found. 2 of them came into her store to buy snacks and use the phone. The others stayed in the truck. But these sightings led nowhere. Months passed. Then, in June of that same year, when the snow began to melt, more chilling discoveries surfaced. A local man noticed a broken window on a Forest Service trailer. Police investigated. Inside was the dead body of Ted Weir. He had died from starvation, despite being surrounded by food inside the trailer. Canned goods, dehydrated meals, enough to survive for months. Ted was found wrapped in multiple army blankets. His feet were badly frostbitten, but the trailer's fireplace, which could have easily been lit, was never used, and winter clothes inside the trailer were left untouched. It's believed he may have survived up to 13 weeks after the others disappeared. Roughly 20 miles from the car, searchers found the remains of Bill Sterling, Jack Hewitt, and Jack Madruga. They were spread out, scattered across the forest floor. Each had died of hypothermia, but Gary Mathias was never found. Only his shoes were discovered, deep in the nearby woods. So many questions. No answers. Why did they drive into the mountains in the first place? Why did they abandon a functioning car when they could have pushed it out themselves? Why didn't they help Joseph Shones when he called out for them? Why didn't Ted light a fire, or eat the food, or wear the winter clothing that could have saved him? To this day, nobody knows. And the case of the Yuba County 5 remains one of the most unsettling and bizarre mysteries in California's history. Brandon Victor Swanson was 19 years old when he disappeared on May 14, 2008, and what makes his case so disturbing is that his final moments were heard live, over the phone. Brandon had just finished classes at Minnesota West Community and Technical College, and that night he went out to celebrate with friends in the nearby town of Canby. After midnight, he began driving back to his family's home in Marshall, Minnesota. But somewhere along the way, he took a wrong turn. At around 1:54 a.m., Brandon's car slid into a ditch on a dark gravel road. He wasn't hurt, but his car was stuck. So he did what most of us would do. He called his parents for help. He told them he was near the town of Lind, just a few miles from home. They drove out to find him, headlights flashing. He said he could see them, but they couldn't see him. For the next 47 minutes, Brandon stayed on the phone with his father as he walked along the road, describing his surroundings. He sounded calm. He kept saying, "I'm walking toward the lights." He truly believed he was heading in the right direction. Then, suddenly, he interrupted the conversation. His voice changed. He said, "Oh, sss," and the line went dead. His parents tried calling back, over and over, but Brandon never answered again. They never heard his voice again. Authorities launched a massive search. They finally located his abandoned car, not near Lind, but 25 miles away, outside a town called Taunton, in a completely different direction. Dogs followed his scent for a while, through fields, along a gravel road, toward a river. Then the trail went cold. Some believed he may have fallen into the Yellow Medicine River, but divers found no body, and no trace of him ever surfaced. There were no signs of struggle, no witnesses, no dropped belongings. Just a 19-year-old, alone in the dark, talking to his dad one moment, and the next, gone. To this day, no remains, no clues, just those haunting last words. "Oh, sss," and nothing else.